Hello and welcome back to Beckler Guitars and Repairs. Today we're checking out something pretty cool. So I picked up this guitar locally, and it caught my attention right away because how couldn't it? It's pretty cool. It's a Gibson Flying V 67 reissue in ebony, and I believe it's a 2006. I'm just going to double check that. So the way you can tell the year is by the first and last or fifth number of the serial number on the Gibson. So it's a little hard to see because of the ebony finish, but the first digit is a 0 and the fifth digit is a 6, so that makes it a 2006. So between 2000 and 2006 is considered the Goodwood era for Gibson USA. That's when they were just using really high quality woods and putting out some really nice stuff with good quality. So that's kind of considered the newer golden age. Yeah, that's before like on the standards, this is before they were chambering and before they were using like the PCB circuit systems, so they're all hand wired. And so it was just like 9-hole weight relief on the standards, not the chambering yet. And the quality was just really high. That's a lot of people's opinion anyway. So, but Gibsons between those years tend to go for a premium now. So yeah, got this for a decent price. And I think all it came with was, yeah, we've just got a truss tool in there, and that's about it. So I haven't really checked this out at all. I just picked it up. So let's get it on the bench and see the parts and specs. Okay, so yeah, the guitar appears to be in quite nice condition. There's a little bit of clouding to the finish, which I'm sure I can polish out. But as far as scratches and dings, there's a few small impressions and dimples in the finish, but nothing that seems to be worn through. There's a little bit of buckle rash on the back, but not much. And the frets are not sharp. They're nice and smooth. And the frets appear to be in good condition. Some minor wear, but very little. Okay, so let's just go ahead and get some specs. Okay, so the guitar weighs 7 pounds, 15.2 ounces. Okay, and here's the neck profile. So it's a pretty rounded C, and then it kind of flattens out by the 12th into a little bit of a flatter profile. But it's pretty standard, I would say. And the neck itself isn't very chunky, so I think this is more of like a 60s style neck. 1.66 at the first, and 2.05 at the 12th. And a 0.80 at first fret neck depth, and a 0.865 at the 12th. Okay, so for pickup readings, we're getting a 14.38 in the bridge, and an 8.27 in the neck, and in the middle, a 5.26. Okay, so let's go ahead and take the strings off and take the screws out and we'll have a look at the pickups and the cavity cover. Okay, we've got the strings off and all the screws off. So just a couple features on a Flying V in case you aren't familiar. So the pick guard, everything's mounted to the pick guard. So there's a cavity into the full mahogany body. This is just usually a big slab of mahogany, usually 2 pieces, 3 pieces, 4 pieces, just depends on what they use at the factory at the time. And then they route this big piece of mahogany for the cavity and the pickups, and the pickups are mounted to the pick guard, and everything's mounted to the pick guard, kind of like a Strat, similar. And then to get underneath, you have to actually take off the thumb wheels of the bridge, because that actually rests over top of the pick guard. So some SGs are like this as well. And then I wanted just to show the bridge. It's unbranded, or actually it says PW on there. I'm not sure what that means. And it looks like a full weight tailpiece, unbranded as well. And we can take this off and have a look here. So yeah, that's what I mean. Just one big piece that's been routed, and then they put the pick guard with everything else on top. So everything looks good here. It appears to be factory. We've got some nice looking routes. No issues. And the pickups are stock. They're the 498 490 RT, I believe. Although I'll double check that. And then there's our control cavity. A little bit of hair in there, get that out. So it looks like there's some shielding paint in the control cavity, as well as the shielding cover on the back here. And it all looks to be original Gibson pots. We got our ceramic disc capacitor and our 3-way toggle switch. So everything looks as it should. So we'll put that all back together shortly, and then I just want to show the truss rod. So there it is, and everything's looking good there. And Flying V's have this big truss rod cover, this big Gibson truss rod cover. These are actually really hard to find, this part. So if you're ever looking for one, they're hard to come by. Maybe when I was just looking, they were hard to find, but I'm not sure if Gibson actually sells this aftermarket. Anyway, I could be wrong. I remember trying to find one, track one down a couple years ago, and it was really hard. And people were selling these on eBay for like ridiculous money, like $100 or something. So that may have changed now, but that's how it used to be. Okay, and then I just want to show you the frets here. So let me just see if what I'm looking at here. Okay, so if I hold the camera there, you can see there's some very slight divots in the frets. That's just from wear. So in like the reverb listing, I would call this minimal fret wear. And I typically just leave it unless it's bad. But I want to show you how you can easily get rid of that if you want. So this is my fret diamond file. This is my crowning file. So all you would do is you go to the fret that has the divots. You take a couple passes on your crowning file, and then that would just virtually disappear. Then you need to sand it and polish it and everything else like that. But then after that, it's good to go. Yeah, you can also, like, if they were really bad, you'd probably consider doing a total, you know, filing, crowning, and a full fret level. But these definitely aren't bad. I'm going to polish them up on the buffer, just so they're nice and shiny and smooth. And I think that's all they're going to need. So I'll go ahead and get all the string, or all the screws back on it, and we'll throw it on the buffer quick, and then we'll restring it. Okay, so I've just taped it off in case the buffer goes wild or something. It's a small buffer, but if it catches, it can really throw the guitar. On the big buffers, you can throw your guitar across the room if it catches on something. So just a word of caution for that. So let's go ahead and start it up. Looks like it's gonna be fine. Move the camera just a little bit. Okay, all done. Yeah, mirror-like shine in like no time at all. So yeah, I like to run everything through the buffer now, because the results for the small amount of time you got to spend on it is great. And even that amount of buffing seemed to have got out some of the divots. They were very minor to begin with. I think you can see just a slight, tiny little bit left. But nice results there. So I'm gonna go ahead and just give it a clean. Again, I like to use the Dunlop 65 for polishing. It's just a good cleaner. I've used a bunch, and this is kind of what I've ended up liking the most so far. I'm sure there might be even better products. I know the Music Nomad stuff is pretty nice. I just have never used it before. I'm just gonna check the relief in the neck and just see where we're at without any string tension. So there's already some relief in the neck, even without any strings on there. So I'm just gonna go ahead and tighten that a little bit, just so we'll start at like a baseline of about no relief, and then that way the strings will put a little bit of relief into the neck. So yeah, that was even too much. I'll loosen that off one more. So yeah, that's just about perfect. So then the string tension, we'll just put a tiny bit more relief into the neck. And okay, so let's go ahead and put some strings on it. I'm using the D'Addario EXL 120s. Okay, here we are. So strings are back on, tuned and intonated. I intonated with the Peterson tuner, the Strobo Plus HD. So just a quick reminder of how to intonate. So you tune the string to whatever it's tuned to, and then it should be exactly the same in tune at the 12th fret. So tune to E, make sure it's perfect, and then fret as you normally would at the 12th fret for each string, and it should be perfectly in tune. If not, you have to move the saddles on your bridge back or forward, depending if you're flat or sharp. So it's relatively simple to do, but that's going to give it it's going to sound in tune the best no matter where you're playing across the neck. So we're just going to check the setup now. So we'll check the setup at the nut here. So I'm just fretting the 3rd fret and just seeing how the string lies on the 1st fret. So a proper action at the 1st fret should be, the string should be almost just resting on that fret. So you can see, yeah, they're all resting right on that fret there. And I'm just gonna tune up again because I did stretch the strings. So after I intonated, so yeah, the way a strobe tuner tunes is when the wheel on top stops moving, that's when you're in tune. And this thing tunes to 1/1000th of a cent. So that's very accurate. Okay, so action's good at the nut. Let's check it at the 12th fret here. I'm gonna use my gauge. So it looks at the low E at the 12th is about 1.5 to 2 millimeters, and the high E is about 1 to 1.5 millimeters. So a nice low setup. And now I'm just going to double check that all the frets are playing well and there's no buzz anywhere. Alright, great. So we're in tune, we're intonated, we've got a good setup here, good action at the 1st and the 12th, and no buzz anywhere on the fretboard. Yeah, and the fingerboard looks really nice. It's got that nice dark rosewood with a little bit of streaks, and our frets are looking pristine after the buffer. So yeah, this guitar plays really nicely, and everything's in tune. So let's go ahead and plug it in and see how it sounds. Okay, we're running through the 65 Deluxe Reverb reissue. We're using the PS1 Power Soak from Bugera. I've got the amp running at about 4.5, 5. We've got no pedals on, and we're just using the reverb on the amp. So let's just get some clean sounds. This is the bridge pickup. yeah, sounds quite nice. Clean. We'll get some distortion going right away here. I just wanted to note that a nice way to play the V is right between your lap here. So kind of like you put the the crotch of the V right in your between your legs, and it's a pretty comfortable way to play sitting down. Alright, so I'm just going to use a little bit of the OCD full tone overdrive. So this is the bridge. Okay, so what are my final thoughts on the 2006 Flying V 67 reissue? Yeah, it's a great guitar. Vs look amazing on stage. They're kind of hard to play just as your everyday kind of a guitar. There is a way to play it relatively easily between your legs, but it's still a little bit cumbersome. The pickups, if I dialed them in my amp, I got some really nice sounds out of them, but typically those aren't my favorite pickups. They are really good for like some high gain metal type stuff, but that's not what I usually play. But I could appreciate them for what they were. They sounded great, clean, and overdriven. They were pretty good too. I think I do prefer some of the other Gibson pickups, but most of the Vs come with these pickups, so I mean, you could always swap them if you wanted to, but V players love these pickups too. Yeah, there was no quality issues with the guitar. It's in really good shape. There's just a few odd dimples and a little bit of buckle rash on the back. We fixed up the frets with the fret buffers, so they're nice and shiny. Very minimal wear anywhere on the frets, and it's perfectly set up now with low action and no buzzing anywhere. Intonated, and yeah, it seems like it's going to be a pretty great guitar for somebody. The case is also in really good condition. The combo lock has never been touched. It's still got the plastic tab in there, and it does come with the original truss tool. And here's the case, also in great shape. I really like these 2000 cases that come with the leather handle and the alligator skin. They're excellent cases. Alright, so that'll be it for today for Beckler Guitars and Repair. Thanks for tuning in, and we've got more coming this week. It's going to be very busy. Alright, thank you very much. Thanks for tuning in. Have a great day.